You did see one of the players in there by the name of Tyler Butterfield. He's, let's list his stats. He's been to the Olympics. He's been a pro cyclist. He's won Ironman. He's won Ironman 70.3. He's done just about everything. He did get 7th in Kona. Tyler Butterfield. He's not your typical high-performance athlete. Amazing dude. Lots of fun. Have a look at little Tyler Butterfield over here.
You wave, Fletch? Say hello.
Say hi. He's like, let me at the playground.
This is, I call the chaos house.
What's going on here today?
We are setting up. We got homeschooling nowadays because of COVID. Everyone's changing everything up. This is Halloween day. We're setting up the Halloween stuff. We don't know if we'll be in Colorado for Halloween. I'm from Bermuda originally. Nikki's from Australia. We might head down to Bermuda. They got some pretty cool traditions down there, and they're almost COVID free. So figured get a trip in. We've been wanting to go the whole time, but we've stayed here.
We were in the same. I came to train with the group that I was in, and
Yeah,
I thought he was like this punk accented tattooed kid. Not kid, we're the same age.
The coach was Billy Davon, and his wife Louise. I think she was 6th or 7th in Kona in the sort of early 90s. When I was in Australia, you want to meet an Australian down there? To be honest, a lot of boys in the group were interested in Nikki. She loved the attention, so I played the ignore her, play hard to get, and then she got bored of everyone else hitting on her and wondered why I was leaving her alone. That's how I describe it.
We should learn about this later.
I want to know about it.
Play cool, calm, and collective. Bluffing that I didn't care. It works. Do it in racing too. Pretend like you're hurting and save it for the run. Call it the furnish room because it is the furnish room. Lots of clothes. We moved pretty quickly last year in December. I was working the farm for 2 weeks. We got a guy who works on the farm who's awesome, who keeps it running nice, but he needs a holiday at some point. So off season for me, the best time to do it is the off season. And so here, this is where I've got a little TV. Nothing fancy. It's literally the dungeon, the basement that's unfinished, the furnace room. This is my 7th place bowl. My 5th is in Bermuda. I think my brother or dad has it in their office. I got to switch because my dad was actually 7th, which is why I kept a couple of these. That's from the Bermuda newspaper, like father, like son. Leading into something like Kona, Nikki definitely steps up, and I'm not as home as much. I'm out training all the time. When I come home, I'm tired. But that takes its toll on family, and I think any pro with kids or any age grouper with kids, especially if you've got a handful, understands that family life is important. And when I finish my career, they're still going to be here, and they're going to be supporting me, and I'm going to be supporting them. Like they're huge. They're the biggest part of my life. So I can't be at my A game all year. So I have to pick and choose. And for me, I want to be the best when I think it matters most.
This is where Daddy was on the weekend.
Yeah, so I just got back from Cozumel. I think it was the first race back in North America. So that's Mexico. Should we find Cozumel? Cozumel is a little island off here. It doesn't really show. So there's Cozumel. There's Bermuda. And where I normally head out in about a week. You head out. The kids normally come. And there's Kona.
Where are we going?
We're going to the farm. 2.5 miles there, 2.5 home. Easy way to get 5 miles out. Hey, looking good. Jose's the man. We met Jose a long time ago when we lived up the mountains in Boulder. We had a horse down at Boulder Valley Ranch, which is where we did one of the VRs, where I did the run. We used to keep our horses there. He had a horse down there, and yeah, he keeps it running. Without Jose, I wouldn't be racing. So every once in a while, I give him a day off, but he's a hard worker.
And Sunday.
But I was gonna say, the farm keeps me like honest, and like you do. I realized from the farm work that just everything needs to be done every day, and I took that to training, and never tried to do anything specific, or I'm not as attention to details on like my hard days. I just get it done.
The eggs I found. They're outside.
This is Lavender,
Yeah.
Pippa, and Mabel. They were like our first 3 Nubians.
Yeah, and they
Then-
love twice.
This is our first miniature Nigerian over here. She's the friendliest. Her name is Harriet.
The reason that Tyler wanted to buy it, this was his idea for the record. I've just kind of rode with it. And he wanted the kids to be outside and around, not necessarily around animals, but just like digging in the dirt and like living as kids. For us, it's like our grounding place. You know, like we come here because we want to be outside, calm, grounded, not like anxious and rushing, which is what I feel like a lot of life can become in these days.
One or two get fluffy ones, but I think the coyotes, you can tell when they leave.
Well, there you go. That was a nice feature looking at the Butterfield family. And now we're lucky enough to have Tyler himself live on the show. Tyler, it's great to see you. Thanks for sharing the day in the life. And here we are now at your farm. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, Michael and Didi.
Of course. I mean, I'll say this right away. You sound great. You sound like you're in our studio here, but you're not. You're on the farm. Tell us a little bit about the not-so-conventional pro life that you live there. Not like every other athlete you race against. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, we spent 3 years living on the farm, which was amazing. We moved off just last winter when we had the 4th kiddo. It was a pretty small house, but because of the acreage, it didn't feel small. And there's days we definitely miss it. Like in the morning and the night, you got to do night check all the horses, all the animals. And some nights you're dead tired and you don't want to do it. But as soon as you step out that door, it's sometimes a favorite part of the day. It's just peaceful. I got hopefully the llamas in the background. I'm going to go get some food and feed them in a sec for you guys. But one looks like it's coming over. That's Micah. Micah was born on the farm. My Wi-Fi might go in and out when I go get the food closer to the fence. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we all got to have hobbies, but triathlon takes up most of our time. So you don't really have much time for anything else. And the kids in the farm are it for me.
Well, you certainly had time for a great race in Cozumel just a week or so ago. You were second there in Cozumel. How did it feel to be back racing?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. To be back in Cozumel, I mean, I love Cozumel. Last year, I got to go down there twice. I think I've done the Ironman 4 times and a half now, 3. For me, it feels like home, like growing up in Bermuda. They're very different islands, but they're both tropical islands. The humidity, the heat. Just the smell when you step off the plane. It reminds me of home. I mean, I think that's why I like Hawaii. I think that's what we all miss is the humid, soft air. And it's nice to be back racing, especially in races that I'm familiar with.
Well, you had a great race. I was there, got to watch that. And this brings up the question. You train in Boulder. You're now not the young gun. You've got the young guns surrounding you. You're still plenty young, don't get me wrong. But like someone like Sam Long, who won that race, and the folks you train with, you have fun with them. You push each other. Tell us a little bit about that training environment that you've got, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great this summer. Because of COVID, me and Sam have actually done more together. I think because of COVID, you sort of picked your training partners and didn't mingle quite as much. We both are very endurance based. I definitely can't do or don't do as much as Sam, and I knew it was sort of his race to lose. But he's up and coming. I think he's 12 or 13 years younger than me. And I have to remember, we'll be chatting on the bike, and I'm like, he's not relating to any of this. So we have a good time. He calls me Papa Butterfield. Or the old man. But yeah, no, it's a great time. I knew he was in form to win it. He's definitely proving that his training will execute in a race. That's the biggest thing is through, I mean, all of us have seen over the years, there's plenty of people that can put out amazing training sessions.
and just something happened. It's normally not the same thing, but every race there's something different that makes it not work out. They don't know how to execute. And through my career, that's been a big thing. Is I'm not always at 100% leading in, but I know what I've put in and I know what I should get out. And as long as I can execute to the best of my ability on the day, I'm happy. So if I was 5th, but I knew that's the best, I really could have easily been 7th or 10th, then I'm happy. It is, in the end of it is we're racing ourselves more than anyone else half the time. So I was really happy to see Sam win, and I was really, really happy to get second.
Tell us a little bit, Ty, about your dad's racing history in Kona and how that lit a competitive fire in you. And then I know you said in the Kiki video that you don't push your kids, but do you hope one day to see one of your kids competing in Kona as well?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, it all started, I remember as a kid, my parents started the Bermuda Triathlon Association in Bermuda. Like, I just grew up around it. We had the Iron Kids in Bermuda. My brother was always the more talented of the two of us, but he won everything as a kid, like pretty much never was beat. So it was harder for him when he sort of got older and went away to races and suddenly there was more competition. He wasn't used to it. But I mean, I remember going in my dad's closet and seeing these slides and holding them up to the window and seeing him in a pair of Speedos walking down, it would have been Digby Beach. And then asking him to get out. I think he had to borrow a projector to put him up. But that's what I remember as a kid is sort of this legacy. I mean, around town in Bermuda, me and my brother took up motocross for a little bit. And I was no good at it, but they'd call my dad Ironman Jim. And so it was sort of like, it was just ingrained that this was something special to do. I never thought, I thought if I could be 7th would be amazing. And then in my second try, I got second. And from then I knew there was potential to do well. And so then I kept kicking around, trying to beat that, and then got the 5th. And then since then I've tried even harder. And normally I think most of us can relate. When you want something really badly, there's a chance you're just going to overcook yourself, which most of us have all done in Kona. But you gotta try your best, and so if you blow up, you're not too disappointed.
Good answer, Tyler. One thing, just right to that point about Kona. Do you have unmet aspirations still on the Big Island? Do you want to go better than 5th? What's the story there?
Yeah, I definitely want it. I think we all dream of winning it, but the reality is I'm pretty happy and content, which is a good and a bad thing. In life, everything that's a positive can be a negative. It's really helped me to enjoy these last couple of years of racing, is not feel like I have a chip on my shoulder that I have to prove myself. It's now just do what you enjoy, swim, bike, run as much as you can, and enjoy the race. I would like to go there. I've qualified, so I'm on the start list. This was going to be probably my last race. Although you say that, and then it's like, I think I want to race till I'm 70, but I definitely, the end is near. And so this 2020 was I was sort of put on the books that could be the end, and then it's turned into 2 years. So yeah, it will be what it will be. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to already have the qualification in the books. But I'm pretty happy with 5th. Only have 4 people better than you in the world on that day. But it would be nice to be in that press conference again. When I was 7th, someone was like, when you're top 5, you get in the press conference, and then everyone wants to you want to improve, but it's easier said than done.
Well, I can certainly relate to that, Tyler. I've raced one more year about 7 times now, so I hear where you're coming from. Now, you juggle a lot. Most pros, their lives are, training, eating, sleeping, doing it all over again. You juggle a lot with the farm, your kids. We saw it in the video. Do you have any tips for age groupers who also balance really busy lives? You are really setting an example for a lot of age groupers with all you take on.
Yeah, I'm probably getting more tips off them. I've been watching him. I've always had a lot of energy for the age groupers, because I think they have it harder than us. We have the pressure, but they have a lot to juggle. Yeah, my wife said something years ago: is a yes to something is a no to something else, and that stuck with me. You got to be careful, and then just find a balance. You'll find out what works for you and what doesn't. There was things I did years ago that I thought I had to do that I've now dropped out and I don't do as much. And I've realized my performance still stays at a high level. It's finding that balance. Like I often take a couple minutes transition time between leaving the house and jumping in the pool or getting on my bike. Because I just need like 2 or 3 minutes just silence before I'm meeting someone else. I'm a bit of a talker, as everyone around me knows. But yeah, I mean, you find out what works. Like take tips from other age groupers, take tips and try it. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to do it. One big thing I stopped doing, and this was when my wife first had one kid and then raced with a second. She stopped looking at what other people did because she could no longer do it. It was like you had to train this many hours, and suddenly she's like, I'm not doing it. I'm getting on my bike, and like a run session, I'm getting on and time traveling for an hour because I only have an hour. You have to work with what you have, not look at what other people are doing because they might have a lot more time or a lot less time, or it's a big thing. And now with social media, it's easy to get caught up in what others are doing. Doesn't mean you can't get tips from them, but yeah, pick up tips, find a good balance, and then just enjoy it. If you're enjoying it, you'll go well.
Super answer, Tyler. I tell you what, I met you about 10 years ago, and every time I get to know you a little bit better, I like you a little bit more. I'll say this. We've got to say goodbye, but we can't say goodbye before we see the Yama Llama. So let's have a look there. What's his name? And show us what you got before we say goodbye. I don't want to make you run, but here we go. There we go. Look at this, folks. He's on the farm right now.
Those two are running away. As soon as I grab the food, they will come running. Maybe they'll even give you a kiss. Here's one here.
I'd like a kiss from a llama.
I'd like a llama kiss, please. What do they eat, Tyler? Tyler, what do they eat?
This is just oats.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a goat and a llama. So the llama will get mad at the goat. If it pins its ears back, it means it's about to maybe spit on you. This one's Sadie. Sadie's the most aggressive. Those are the two goats. I got to get my daughter to get all the goats' names. These ones don't eat quite as much. These were born. I think this is Sadie's son here. This is Rusty, Micah and Rusty.
So good.
But yeah, they're guard animals. We got them to guard the goats, but they're so cute that they get my family to the farm. If the family's not riding the horses, they want to just come hang out and see the llamas.
Well, I tell you what, they're amazing. Tyler, it's great to see you, and we appreciate you taking the time. I want to say goodbye to the llamas, tell them good work. You as well. We'll see you around soon. And thank you so much for sharing a little taste of your life with our viewers. We've never had llamas on a Kona show before. I can mark my words on that one. But thanks again, Tyler. We'll see you soon.